starts actually broadcasting.
Yeah, probably right when it says the broadcast is live.
Yes, and it's no driving gloves. It's Derek and I again. Will's making all these excuses and stuff about, and those joining. The car behind me is, I'm going to duck out of the way. This is the Cadillac Will debuted last night at SEMA. I think it's one of two, if not three cars he took to SEMA. I think I have a feeling that some of his normal friends that comment are probably not here. They're at SEMA. Like, I guess we probably should have been too. But let me duck out of the way of the Cadillac. Duck out of the way of Cadillac. You can enjoy it. I don't know. I don't know if Jason's here yet because I could pimp out that ATS that's still on Copart that they seem to be having trouble, but we'll leave that one alone this week. I'm out of the way.
No, you're not.
I went the wrong way.
Now you are. Nope. There we go. So it's red. It's lowered. I think they call it slammed. Got some big wheels on it. Should I call them rims so that when Will re-listens to this, he can get mad at me?
Yeah, let's call them rims.
Yeah. Should have put blades on it. 20-inch blades. Yeah.
That would look so much better with spinners. Whatever happened to spinners? I mean,
spinners or the Spinners, because I think most of the Spinners are dead now, but they were a great musical band.
No, I mean, think about it. What was it? Well, I was still living in Peoria because I remember seeing them there. So that would have been late 90s, mid 90s, 20, 22, 24-inch wheels, big spinner. Where do these things go? Did every single one of them get junked and scrapped? And somebody's got to have a collection of these things sitting around.
John,
the Spinner Museum.
I think it's kind of like Hakuna Matata. It was a passing phase. Oh, no, that was passing phrase. I'm sorry. Anyway, spinners were a phase. They're gone. It's done. It's over.
But see,
however, I will say I saw a, what was it? It was an Impala with blades on it the other day, running around here in Franklin, Kentucky, of all places.
Okay, I'm just, whatever happened to Dayton's? What 120 spoke Dayton's? Or do they? Are they still a thing? I don't. I know. I don't run.
Dayton Wire Wheel went out of business.
Walmart spinners. Are we talking about the little toys to keep us occupied? That we had these little spinners with bearings in them, which is actually one of the worst things you could do with bearings. But now we've got those stupid. They look like egg cartons, but really soft plastic. I don't know why the heck are we talking about this kind of stuff. Well, Phil's seen some dunks in Birmingham, and I can't remember. What are they? You have the dunks and because one's the Ford and one's the Chevy.
You're getting out of my
donks and dunks.
As far as I go, it's like I'm lucky that I know what a hoopty is. So.
Oh, I could play since I got this phone connected in case Will calls in. I could play my Hoopty by Mix-a-Lot. Would Mix give me permission? Probably not. Probably not even Mix. That would probably be his record company, and 14 people you got to go through and get them to sign off.
Yeah.
But we could critique the song. I guess we could play it and critique the whole Hoopty idea. If we did that and we used it as part of a learning experience, even though fair use isn't the legal standard, fair use is your defense. That is technically fair use, I think. We would have a grounds to stand on.
However, I think the fact that we just discussed it all live and recorded it probably negates every part of that we just talked about. It's like when they tell you when you get angry to count to 10. All that does is make it premeditated. That's the problem with counting to 10.
We just won't get into me and anger and counting to 10. And
hey, John, seen any good movies lately?
No. I'm actually marathoning Seinfeld because I hear they're remastering it, so I want to get through the series. I've never watched every episode of Seinfeld. I've never watched, so I started with episode 1. I ran out of free Bravo, so I had to stop watching Real Housewives season 11. So I got to figure out. I guess I'll make an announcement to everybody. We may or may not be here next week. The intention is we will be here next week, but this is the last time from this studio.
John's got an opportunity to try out for the Real Housewives, so he's gonna take that opportunity.
I'm trying out for the Bachelorette.
Nice.
As the Bachelorette. I'm identifying as a Bachelorette this evening. I don't know when Colin, see, he's agreeing to do it. I'm assuming he probably posted
I
that
think
long
that was
before.
do it to something else. Yeah. We've probably lost Colin at this point.
But no. So this is the last time from this studio. I know you guys always see me in this, whatever gorgeous background I put up, but this place is look, you've heard this term, bomb went off. This place does look like a bomb went off. It was amazing. That's why we were a couple minutes late tonight, as I had to unbury my desk chair. But new studio
what about
next.
Spoked wheels and sorry, go ahead, John.
I say next week, new studio. If we're here, I hope we are. I forget why I got onto that topic other than to inform our listeners. But play the music. Let's remix it. I'm watching.
Oh yeah, what if we just did sampling of it? We're allowed to do sampling, right?
No, technically there is no. Some people say 10 seconds, some people say 15 seconds. Technically, that's not true either. But I do have
right. But dude, theirs went like doon 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 doon, and mine went like doon 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 doon. You see, somebody will get that reference.
Rolling in my 5.
What about spoked wheels and lowriders? Well, wood spoked wheels are still in, Colin, because I keep them alive in my barn. That's all I got to say. And lowriders actually are still popular out in Southern California and that kind of Southwest America. Lowriders actually have an extremely important history in automotive subculture. So, and I know you know that, Colin, so don't even start being smart. Oh, now we're in trouble.
Oh yeah, another night on the boulevard, cruising hard and everybody's low.
Hey, I'm living risky tonight.
What was that?
That is low. You don't know what that is? That is Lowrider. That's the Latin Alliance version. Would you prefer the war version?
I prefer no version of Lowrider. I'm not a big fan of the song.
See, sounds just the same.
Totally the same. And we just got shut down by the FCC.
We'll just get a cease and desist, and Lipson will take this podcast off. And it's kind of like, we've cussed now, so we probably can't be heard in 43 different countries in the world that we probably were the number one car podcast in.
Oh, damn. Oh, sorry.
We were like in the 30s in Ireland last week.
That's surprising, seeing we drink scotch. I thought we would have offended the Irish.
No, you know me, the last couple of weeks I've been on my Michelob Ultra kick. This is the last one out of that 6-pack. I'll be in the new place next week, and I'm allowed to drink there because it's my place. I saw my big box of alcohol this morning ready to move. I guess I should start drinking again. Don't drink and drive. Dave's Dream appeared in the shop today. I'm totally lost on what Colin's talking about.
Well, Colin is talking about... Hold up. Dave's Dream, which is a lowrider. Oh yeah. And Colin is not Colin Colin is not one of our regular listeners or commenters, but Colin is part of a company called B.R. Howard and Associates, which is a conservation and restoration studio in Pennsylvania that I get the occasional chance to have some fun with and go work on projects with them every now and then and have a good time, often with cars.
Is Dave's Dream the car, one of the cars that just made it into that Smithsonian collection that the Manx is in? And I can't think of any of the other cars in
Well,
there.
no, I think you're confusing it with the Historic Vehicle Association,
Yes,
which I'm actually wearing their hat tonight.
I thought
but
I thought the Historical Vehicle Association just recently put a lowrider in that collection.
well, yes, they put it on the National Register.
Yeah.
I'm blanking. I'm sorry. I'm blanking. I didn't expect this conversation to go this direction, but the National Register of Historic Vehicles, Historic Vehicle Registry, or whatever you want to call it.
National Historic Vehicle Register.
Yes, but Colin is referring to Dave's Dream, which is, if I remember right, it's been in the Smithsonian collection for quite a few years. Colin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, it symbolizes how significant that lowrider culture is to the automotive community.
I was quickly going through. I looked it up. I was trying to find it. There's a lot of cars on here that I guess I don't see every press release.
So the HVA, the Historic Vehicle Association, part of Haggerty, the Historic Vehicle Registry, all of that are separate from the Smithsonian collection.
Okay. Been a long time since I've dealt with the Smithsonian. Ugh, God, I can't talk tonight. 6 too many sips of beer tonight. Oh. So, does anybody in the comment section have a direction we want to go? Because Derek and I are just winging it a little bit tonight.
Isn't that what we do every night?
That's what we've been doing, and it has been working.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Well, about the only person commenting right now is Colin, and it appears we've lost Phil. And of course, everybody else is at SEMA. And we're sitting here waiting for Will to call in so our one listener can actually hear what Will has to say.
Well, I'm thinking Will may or may not going to call in. So I'll just go. I was having
rotaries. Rotary Corvettes, Phil. Rotary Corvettes. Yes. 2 rotors and 4 rotors.
Is this where did you say something about it that somebody was talking that rotaries could be the ideal
diesel engine?
No, compressed natural gas.
No. Hydrogen. Yeah.
Hydrogen.
Gas. You're right. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Yep. Can we speak about the official Historic Vehicle Registry cars? We can. What do you want to speak about?
I was going to say, I'm scared to go down that road with you, Derek, because that is going to be old Derek and John.
You want this to go really academic?
Yeah.
And see Derek get really worked up. We can go there, but let's talk about starting the Packard or talk about the new Corvette. Nobody wants to hear about the new Z06. We went over that last week. We burnt that topic to the ground, I think. Fantastic car.
What was the 0 to 60 on that?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
All
right. So to take Phil's, let's see, Phil's listening about 2-rotor Corvettes. They were a unique moment in Corvette history. GM attempted to build their own rotary engine after getting a license for the Wankel rotary engine. It turned the opposite way of the Wankel engine. They actually spun it the opposite way. Let's see, what else can we say? Of course, in the 1970s, rotary technology, not what it is today, I would say. So it didn't really work too well for the Corvette program or the Corvair program they attempted it in. So GM elected to continue using internal combustion piston-driven engines rather than rotary. And the only rotary Corvette left in existence that was built by GM is the two-rotor Corvette XP987 GT, and it is in the collections of the National Corvette Museum. And yes, I have driven it, and it is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that the one that you had? Was it Lexington you had it at? No, it was somewhere. It was all on asphalt.
Well, no, we had it at Amelia Island. We had it in Lexington at the Keeneland Concours, and we had it at the Concours of America in St. John. And look at that. Phil's talking about Mazda releasing a patent that spins the rotary in the other direction as well. Look at that, Mazda. 50 years later. Nice job. Nice job. I was going to just try to go through every topic in like 30 seconds.
You were going to try to do what?
Go through every topic that we had listed after we said that in like 30 seconds. Just like 30-second little blurbs. So the next one would be Jason's about the historic vehicle registry, which is my opinion, because I know everyone at the HVA. So they all probably know how I feel. Some of the cars are well chosen. Some of them not so well chosen. I think there are some significant cars out there that have been left off the list that need to be put on the list relatively quickly. And they've missed some extremely historically significant vehicles that helped form the American auto industry. And those have not been recognized yet. So, Colin, next time you see Casey and next time I see Casey, make sure he's aware of that. And yes, Phil, if you come to the museum, call me, text me, whatever, email me, however you want to get a hold of me. We'll definitely give you a tour of the museum. Colin, talk about starting the Packard. Oh, Lord, now we're backing up to rotary engines. Okay, so this is how a rotary engine works.
It takes me a few minutes to Google this stuff and get it posted there. What are we talking about with the Packard? I don't know the Packard story.
You don't know the Packard story? See, I'm going to even drive business to the B.R. Howard's shop now, or at least their website. Hopefully it's still posted, Colin, but I don't even remember what year it was, to be honest. Maybe around 2014. Yeah, I think it was 2014. B.R. Howard Conservation was hired to do the conservation of Packard Job 1, the very first Packard ever built. It lives at Lehigh University. And Colin and his dad, Brian, were kind enough to call me out because of, I guess I hate to use the word expertise, but my expertise with early vehicles like that, and having run the Packard Old Pacific and some of the other early Packards. And we went out and spent a couple days together having a little fun. And yeah, I think you're right, New Year's night, we fired it up outside the building. And I had the opportunity to run Packard Job 1, the very first Packard built. And there was, at least not that long ago, still the video on B.R. Howard's website of the Packard Job 1 at idle. And you can hear me make some kind of comment in the background. But it was a good time. We were basically shutting it down for permanent display at Lehigh University inside of an all-new glass exhibit case they had built. And we wanted to make sure it was run one last time. Everything was lubricated appropriately, shut down, drained, so that next time they pull it out and want to run it, we can easily make that happen.
I'm trying to do Jason's request, but I'm finding a challenge here.
See, I just like going old school.
I'm going to try this. Hopefully this isn't an adult website that pops up. Nope, that's the wrong one.
Date someone who... Oh, now we're going to do dating advice. I like this.
Oh, let's pop the Cadillac back up there.
What? Colin, you can't leave now. We just got started. We're only 20 minutes into this thing. We go for an hour.
How about I do this? I do that. I do that.
You gonna try? I held it up for a minute. I'm not even sure. I'm shaking somebody's hand. I'm not sure whose hand I'm shaking.
I might eventually get this. Boy, this seems like such a professional group tonight. Let's try this one. There it is.
There it is. Now, what I really enjoy about this is the fact that I'm shaking someone's hand. Again, I meet a lot of people at these events trying to remember who it is. But I like that my intern, Zach, it looks like he is pondering something about the side of the car and looks completely confused in this photo. That about sums up Zach's internship right there.
We've talked about Zach before. I can't remember the story about Zach.
Well, Zach, we're probably going to have Zach on the show someday because he is the young man that bought the car that the Corvette post that made all the waves in the Corvette community about a young kid
Okay.
buying a Corvette and, trying to restore it back to what it should be. And we were going to, I still am in contact with the gentleman who made that post that sold Zach the car. And hopefully we can reunite them on the show and have a discussion.
I don't, they're driving me crazy because we keep talking about all this stuff tonight and music or songs keep popping into my head. Now, when I'm in improv class and I'm supposed to have songs pop into my head and start singing, I can't do it. But sitting here, no, they're, I'm getting, you said reunited, something we stand. But, oh, God, what a mess tonight. Well, let's try to get this thing.
Here's the dancing queen. Oh, sorry.
That's what I played before the show, isn't it?
I know, that's why it's stuck in my head. So if we want to talk about music, I was thinking about something the other day because one of my probably top 10 favorite songs has been recorded 3 times. Well, recorded and become a hit 3 times by 3 different people. And the original was done by Chris Ledoux.
Okay.
I was waiting for you to guess, but you're not going to.
I'm going to say I don't even know who Chris Ledoux is.
Chris Ledoux was a fairly legendary country music artist. Life is a Highway. Now, I think it was the 80s, Tom Cochrane covered that song, Life is a Highway. And then, of course, Rascal Flatts covered it for the movie Cars. It was in the movie Cars. Life is a Highway. I want to drive it all night long. Blah, blah. That song, John?
No, I know the song you're at. Now I was trying to picture it in the movie Cars.
Yeah. So my thought, I was listening to the Chris Ledoux version, which my opinion is the best of the 3. They're all fantastic versions and they all became hits. But of course, it's a travel related song. It's basically a vehicle based song. They're talking about life as being a highway, driving it all night long. The metaphorical automotive world plays into it. But I was thinking about it, and you've got Chris Ledoux, who was an early, I think he started in maybe the late 70s, went into the 80s as a country music artist. You had Tom Cochrane cover it, who was really a pop artist of the 80s and 90s. And then you had Rascal Flatts, which is kind of that new wave pop country, not sure what to call it. Each of them kind of coming from different genres and different decades. The question that popped into my head is, what type of car or vehicle would each of them be driving in the song? Because they all come from different generations, different genres of music and time in general. And it just made me think, like, what if Chris Ledoux was thinking about a particular vehicle while he was singing that song, what would it be? Same with Tom Cochrane and same with Rascal Flatts. It's just, it for some reason popped in my head.
I know you kind of laid out when, but I got to have years.
I didn't look it up.
Tom Cochran, 1991, 92. So that would probably be a I don't think it would be like a 5-liter Mustang. For some reason, I would think that would be. Would it be a? They really didn't have big GT performance cars. I'm thinking like a. I would think it's almost probably like a Mercedes convertible. Like a 380 500 SL at the time. That was what I would say that. I would picture doing that at that point in time. The Chris Ledoux version, he covered it in 1998.
Oh, did I have it backwards? Did Tom Cochran do that song originally? I thought Chris Ledoux did it originally.
Tom Cochran's first on the wiki page.
Oh, well, that is my
Cochran. Cochran has stated that Life is a Highway was originally conceived in the 80s as Love is a Highway. So he did it. So 91 or 91, 92 for him. Chris Ledoux, 98, and Rascal Flatts, 05. So what would I be driving? I'm thinking for some reason, Pacific Coast Highway as where I'm driving. And what would I want to drive in 98 to do that? I mean,
you're thinking about yourself. I'm thinking about the artist.
I don't know the artist.
Well, that's your fault.
And we all know I'm a well-established narcissist, so it is about me and what I would be driving because I would be right. It's what these guys would drive, and I solved it all. They all would be driving a Porsche convertible, some derivative of a 911.
Which means it's very clear you have no idea who Chris Ledoux is. He was also a championship rodeo cowboy.
And he can't drive a Porsche?
I picture Chris Ledoux in his pickup truck just driving through Wyoming. Just life is a highway, baby. I'm going to drive it all night long.
Here's how good I am with celebrities at times. And I'm going to pop it back to improv class. And when you're in improv, they tell you, for those of you who aren't familiar, you are an expert on everything. You don't, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what they tell you. Class, that'd be easy for me.
So I was Timothy Chalamet. And I was supposed to be him. I still don't know who the hell he is, other than somebody told me he was in the new Dune movie, which I couldn't make it past about minute 25. I was definitely off by 30.
What was his name?
See? Timothy Chalamet. Timothee with one of those little asterisk things above the first D. Chalamet. You're willing to drive.
I got no clue who this guy is.
He was also on Saturday Night Live recently. But
don't be him.
Well, to go back, and Derek, do you want to answer Jason's 935 question?
Why don't you broadcast from the barn? So I fully intend to one of these days when I can actually have the time to get out there and set up and be ready. I have done one broadcast from there for another event or another program I was doing. And
you broadcasted, you did it once from the barn on this show.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes. Well, and that worked pretty well. The time I did it for the other Corvette event, a rainstorm moved in and I could not hear a thing. Fortunately, the other end of the conference could hear me. I just couldn't hear anything that was being said.
So.
And Birmingham is a beautiful place. You're right, Jason. You should go down there and make fun of John in his improv class.
December 6th, we will be doing a public thing. And since I don't have a girlfriend or anything right now, I got to figure out some friends to invite. Maybe I should invite Jason and his wife down, and we could go to dinner or something afterwards. And I could finally meet them since everybody else on the show has met Jason in person.
Well, that's just because they like us better, John.
Well, previous statement, I'm this narcissist and nobody really likes me. They all know I'm a nice guy, but nobody likes to talk to me. That's the reason I have a podcast. There is an article out there about all podcasters are narcissists. So, truly amazing place.
That's why I suck at this, isn't it?
Yes, you're a loving, caring gentleman. Derek's
I prefer
Barn,
to consider
that
myself a Renaissance man. That is what I like to refer to myself as. Have we finally whittled this show down to literally the only person listening is Jason?
No, we've got a lot of listeners. I guess it doesn't really show up, but we've had.
I can't see the statistics. So you're the one that knows how many people are listening.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've actually had up to a dozen or so, which is pretty good for a live number for our show. Right now, we're at 4.
Not bad. Thank you, 4 people. Thank you.
But the video does end up getting seen by, lately, it's 600, 700 people a week or so. It's helping the downloads.
Good job, guys. Thank you. Thank you for making us pseudo popular.
Oh, it makes me feel important.
One person makes you feel important.
Yes. So you brought up cars earlier, and I was having a conversation.
Isn't that what this show is about? Cars?
You would think. Timothy Chalamet and Dune and the movie Cars. And I was chatting with somebody earlier, and I made the comment that I really think Cars is a fabulous movie, regardless of the cars. How whoever wrote it and put it in that theme, I think did a fabulous job, because car guys understand what the movie's, I think, truly about. And I think, it's a depiction of Route 66 and the life and times of Route 66. And when the interstate came through, how it destroyed all these communities, created these ghost towns and forgotten places, just because people didn't have an exit ramp or people are too lazy to exit there. I love traveling to 2-lane highways, and I try to avoid interstates if at all possible. A lot of times I'm in too much of a hurry. But I like traveling the back roads and just seeing other things. One reason I like train travel so much. But they wrote it in such a way that, it appears to be just kind of a love story between two cars. And who the heck can't love a Porsche-esque vehicle? Yes, some people realize the irony of me saying that statement. But I don't know. For some reason, I was talking to somebody who's really not a car person. And, I pointed that out, and they made the comment, no, they weren't aware that, it really tied to Route 66. And it really got me thinking, because we live in this world that I don't think we have a listener among, you get a couple thousand downloads a month and everything. I don't think we have a listener that doesn't know the theme behind the movie Cars. But it really made me think and click that I bet you there's more people in this world that don't know that true story behind it. So I don't know. That's just my emotional monologue for this evening.
Well, it's very true. That is what the movie overall is about. And even the the cars that are in the movie represent the history of the automobile and the story of Route 66. I mean, it is a very well written movie, a very well placed movie in, discussing history. I mean, you think of Doc, you know, I mean,
Well,
that is the way they approach that whole thing, where, Doc is just this car living his life as an older man out in a sleepy little town, but he has this amazing history. I mean, it's in a way somewhat kind of metaphoric to the way Nash went by the wayside. They were on the top of the game and they slowly faded into non-existence.
and I mean, and that again ties into, there's a story there and it's hidden. And Doc, he has a little special place in my heart. While I never met Paul Newman, we all know I was heavily involved in some of Paul Newman's former race cars and things like that, and have a tremendous respect for Paul Newman. And, I learned a lot when it's the trickle down effect of cars. And it's one reason I enjoyed restoring cars when I did it all those years, because you start chasing the stories. And I was doing that Lotus X180R that Newman raced in 91 or so. And it started to go down to, you started to learn more and more about the man and everything. And, it's really weird with, Newman himself, that he probably was a better race car driver than an actor. And it just, that, Doc was, I believe it was Newman's last role. And such, again, such a emotionally moving. That Cars 2, I really didn't care for. I don't know if there was a Cars 3. I don't think I've ever seen Planes, but Cars, they did a, really, really nice job. Like I say, I tell time by exes and Cars, and unfortunately most of them are ex-girlfriends, but 2 exes ago, her daughter Mary Ryan, that was the first movie Mary ever saw, so it had a special place in, I guess Mary's heart. I guess she was 1 or 2 years old when she saw it. I could probably do the math, but it's just, I don't know, it's one of those movies. And Phil asked the question, what's the best car movie you've seen, or car chase? And I don't know if it's the best. Phil, you should know that I have to analyze everything and look at everything and Google search everything to be certain. But I would put Cars probably in my top 3 car movies, just because of all the stories it told. What's your opinion on, or what's your?
Well, what's the best car chase I've ever seen? So,
what's your
when
favorite?
when I worked in Detroit, I was on my way home.
I was kind of thinking that.
It's actually a true story. I was actually
I really
caught
did
in the middle of a police chase, and although they weren't trying to get to me, I just happened to wind up in the midst of it, and thought that there was a gun pointed, although at a person they were trying to arrest. Beyond that person was me and my vehicle, so that was interesting. But actually, well, to back up a little bit, because there was something else I wanted to say, and what's the best. So this is one of those where Cars is blatantly a movie about, animated cars that have come to life. Yes, they're animated in the sense of a cartoon as well. And it has an automotive history story to it. There is a movie out there that exists that ties to automotive history, but does not blatantly put it at the forefront of the storyline. Can you figure out what I'm talking about, John?
A movie that discusses car history but does not tie
Not necessarily car history, automotive history and American history.
No, not offhand.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I've never watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
So Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Obviously, part live action, part cartoon, blended together. One of the earliest movies to do it. I can't remember the name of the other one. There was one that was before it that did it. But Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the backstory to that movie, the basically the plot line running in the background is basically the destruction of minority neighborhoods when interstates were being put into the major cities. So Toontown is representative of the minority areas of large cities. And of course, the whole idea is that the judge is trying to basically put a interstate system, a freeway system, through Toontown by destroying Toontown with his chemical concoction that would melt all the tunes. And it is, I mean, everything is there. The streetcar business that is going defunct because of this oncoming, freeway and automobiles and everything. It is the whole movie. The subplot of that movie is basically the destruction of minority neighborhoods in large cities because of the interstate highway system that went through. And yes, I do have plans. I probably there's only like 4 people listening, but there's going to be a bunch of people listening to this. I've started writing a paper about this. I really would like to talk to, I'm going to blank on his name, Robert, the famous director. He did, he
Roger
was part of
Zemeckis?
Zemeckis. Roger, or
Yep.
Is it Robert or Roger?
I think it's Robert.
Robert, yes, Robert Zemeckis. He directed Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I would love to talk to him about it. And also the screenwriters, the people who wrote it, to get that part of the story. Like, were they actively studying this to write this movie? And to me, it's very interesting, and I do plan to continue writing the paper on it. Hopefully, finish it. Hopefully, publish it. And I would love to give talks on it, show the movie, and actually talk about it, because to me, it is one of the probably most subtle movies that talk about such a serious issue in 1950s, 60s America. Sorry to go all academic on you.
Yeah. That's you. And, it's kind of fascinating to do the paper, and I'm kind of interested in it. Phil commented he had never thought of Roger Rabbit that way. Jason, do you realize that Tom and Ray, he's mentioning Tom and Ray, I can't say their last names tonight.
Magliozzi.
They actually have the number one car podcast by a mile, because they've taken every single one of their episodes and uploaded them. And when you have, I can't remember, the up 10,000 episodes they have, for 20, 30 years that they were on the radio, the trickle down effect is you get a ton of downloads. And so it is one of the most popular, or it is the most popular car podcast.
And that's something interesting to think about, because, they have an evergreen topic, let's call it. In other words, new generations of car people, car guys, car gals, car whatever you want to call them, are interested in Click and Clack. And the stories they told and the humor they had about cars and just the way they hosted that show has become evergreen. And, to come to think of it, I never thought of it this way. They may be 2 of the most influential and impactful automotive people in recent history.
They are. I know who they are. I'll be honest. I've never listened to an episode of them, because I guess I thought they were kind of a Pat Gossish thing. If you're telling me
never listened to Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers.
Nope. Are
What
you
were we
telling
talking
me?
about last week? What makes you a car guy? How dare you? You are not a car guy.
I guess I'm going to contribute to their download numbers for the month of November, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, possibly. To me, it was more when I listened to it when it was on NPR, as Phil and Jason are talking about. It was somewhat more for me. It was about the humor. It was about the lighthearted way they approached the topic. And of course, most of it was geared towards, you like what I did there? Geared towards, uh, you know, basically helping people out with mechanical issues, stories about cars that broke down, people calling in. And they took a very lighthearted approach. They'd make fun of people that called in, and the people loved it. People would just be like, "Yeah, I know. I don't know a thing about cars." You know, and they'd call out shops. Somebody'd call in and be like, "Well, I got it down at the shop and they're telling me this." And they flat out would say, "That shop's taking you for a ride. Get your car out of there. This is what's wrong with it. Take it down the street." Which to me, it was just, I laughed through it. I mean, and most people do. I just laughed my butt off through the thing.
Well, I guess I will download a few episodes of that and squeeze them into my listening menu. I'm contemplating Phil's question. What modern movie past 10 years, so in the last decade, I'll go to 2010 to present, so just, I like round numbers. Of course 2011 does sound about right, but made a younger generation interested in cars. And he does say not Fast and the Furious, and I would probably say the Fast and the Furious movies of the last 10 years, no, I don't think they had as much of an impact. Fast and the Furious 1, yes, that, if you go back that far. But in the last 10 years, has there been a solid car movie?
In my opinion, no. That's one man's opinion.
Yeah, but we already established you're always right if I don't disagree with you.
Well, that's true.
Car movies. I can't even think of one, but then again, I don't go to the movies that often. Drive, Fast 5, Rush, Mad
2010.
Max.
See, I can't even think of what movies have come out in that time, but I not necessarily a car movie, but I would say, well, I guess kind of it's weird.
Well,
but I would think the Transformers series did a lot for automobiles. I mean, you see the concept cars out of GM that appeared in that movie, the new Camaro, the Stingray concept car, all of those cars. That I think that car probably got some car people, enthused and reignited in the car world.
Let's see. I haven't seen it, but I might have to go. I'm looking at the top. Whose article is this? Wheels.ca. So we know they're a very reputable website. Probably could use this for your Facebook fact checking.
Oh, yeah. They're up there in Canada. Holy cow.
2010, Senna. Senna wasn't a bad movie. I was involved with a big showing here in Birmingham, but
never even heard of it.
It's about Ayrton Senna. But
Senna. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But you have to be a car guy to like that movie. I mean, you wouldn't watch it. Drive with Ryan Gosling. Don't know that one. Fast 5, that one was disqualified. Rush. Rush. I saw Rush. It wasn't bad, about Niki Lauda and that. And but still think you have to be a car guy before you'd watch that. I didn't see Mad Max Fury Road, so I'm assuming, would that really be a car thing? The Green Hell, which is about the Nürburgring, which again, you'd be a car guy.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Driver. Cars 3. which
Jason, you clearly have not been listening to the show. We have banned discussing the modern version of Gone in 60 Seconds on this show. So you are banned from commenting.
but that's also 2000. That's way out. This one I haven't seen. I need to see it.
Interesting, Phil.
Art of Racing in the Rain.
Oh yeah.
That
well,
one.
Phil brought up Ford versus Ferrari, which I think a lot of non-car people
that's the last
still
one
watched.
That's the last one on this list, and I know it had influence because I have I'm trying to think if I can actually say this. I have a consulting client in my automotive business that he actually, after watching Ford versus Ferrari, elected to keep some of the cars in his collection because it rekindled a feeling. Now, granted, he is a car guy. He was a car guy when, you see his collection. I mean, he has me on retainer. So he's a car guy. But so I could see Ford versus Ferrari out of this list and knowing the book. But I say Art of Racing in the Rain, but I don't think that would drive people to be a car person. I don't know, Phil. I don't know if there's anything that, if you weren't a car person, that would be that taproot. And that's something I want to discuss, but I'd like to have Will here, is the taproot moment of when you personally knew you were a car person. Not when your parents knew, not when your buddies knew, when you knew you were a car person. And it's not, I want to say, Derek, it's stretching. It's got to go back to 2008 for the Transformers, but I would probably say you're right. The Transformers probably, in my opinion, would be the last movie that actually made people go out and buy a car. The Bumblebee Camaros. Sorry, Phil, I got to go a little bit more than 10 years, maybe a dozen years.
Oh, wait. What year did the Italian Job come out? The new version, not obviously the original. Because that really spiked interest in Mini.
Yeah, and every Mini guys watched it, but I think they used a R56, so that would have been prior to 13 at least. Let's see. 2003.
Ah, dang.
So it definitely was that an R56 Mini, people? That's our first generation.
Man, what year? That was 2003, you said?
Mm-hmm.
My God. Where did time go?
There's actually a what do I want to say? There's actually a movie that was filmed in New Zealand. I got to remember, New Zealand and Australia are different places. That is
There's
highest.
A great episode of Flight of the Conchords about that.
It's the highest grossing movie filmed in New Zealand or produced exclusively in New Zealand or something like that, released in the United States. And the whole movie is based around a Mini, and it's based around the newer Mini like I have. But let's see.
What are we looking? Oh, you're trying to find what movie it was?
No, I was trying to catch up on the comments.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody's answering the Italian Job question. So Does sorry, I'm going with Derek's answer. Changing Phil's question to what was the last movie released that created car people? I'd have to say it was the Transformers because like I said, I know people went out and bought yellow Camaros just because they saw that movie. I know a guy who is a car guy and has been a car guy as long as I've ever known him, but one of his first cars was a Camaro because of that movie. So, excuse me.
Interesting.
Jason agrees, and if Jason agrees, we put all the weight in the world because Jason buys us coffee all the time. So
there you go.
You can go to our website nodrivinggloves.com and click the link to buy us a coffee. And, throw us a couple of bucks there to help support this needless wandering and rambling that Derek and I have done. Did not hear from Will, but whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So we hope to have him on the show next week to maybe break that rule and tell us a little bit about how his Cadillac was received and the other cars.
Phil, that's what I'm here for. To make you question everything about every movie you've ever seen. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Transformers, throw them out there. I'll make you question why you watched that movie and what that movie means.
All of a sudden I'm stuck and I'm going to get into cars and movies. So I'm just going to quit it because I was thinking Flubber and whatever car was in that movie.
Flubber is a great movie. Interesting. I mean, it's got a car in it. It's kind of a cool thought process.
The only reason I remember it is because of the car.
Yeah. I would probably say the world's fastest Indian probably helped the motorcycle world a bit. Bringing that story, bringing that story to life.
Jason,
Jason, because every remake of every good automobile movie has sucked. That is why.
It seems Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels are always hot.
It's now becoming a collector's thing now. That might be a whole show. And I'm going to talk about all the Hot Wheels I have for sale. So if you are buying vintage Hot Wheels in used and played condition, I have a bunch that I need to get rid of. A couple hundred cars and some play sets.
Summer 2022, Hot Wheels Race to Win exhibit at the National Corvette Museum. Sorry, I thought I dropped that ad in there.
Summer 2022.
Yes. June through September, to be exact.
I'm going to mention it, not to compete or anything, but I'm dying to go see the Art Deco thing at the Frist in Nashville.
Ooh, you want to do that? I want to go see it too. And Christine does too. I think we should all meet up there.
I'm being honest. I would like to find a date to go do it if I can do that. And to be honest,
John, are you buying dinner? I mean, I'll leave Christine home. I don't care.
I was just hoping you would send Christine.
Oh, okay.
But no, I want to see it, and I might take you up on it, Derek, because I have a limited number of days that I can see it before that exhibit ends. But I really want to see that, and they do have some cars in it. Art Deco was very influential to this world, so
extremely. And I have not looked into the exhibit. I kind of want to be surprised when I get there. I know in one of their advertisements I saw a Model A. I'm going to have to read the story on that one. I struggle with the Art Deco connection there. But
I can't remember what car I saw in their ad, but it would definitely
there'd better be an
more
Auburn.
Appropriate.
There'd better be an Auburn in that, because I will tell you, one of the most Art Deco vehicles built at that time was the Auburn.
Probably who could lend to what, but yeah. And I'm like you, I see the idea behind the display and then I want to go see what's there, and I don't want to spoil it, but because you and I will both pre-research it and then we will critique too much while we're there. So
If I pre-research an exhibit, sometimes I don't go see it. So
Christine's in.
I know. I think you just got a date with my wife.
Yeah, with either one of us. So they did something. Yes, they did something at the Fritz. Jeez, that was probably. I was still in the Birmingham British Motoring Club at the time, so that had to be 7 or 8 years ago, Phil. Because then they also did something at the High Museum in Atlanta. Then I went and saw that.
Well, in the Cleveland Institute of Art, many moon ago, did a automobile as art exhibit and had a number of Bugattis in the exhibit, because they also have some of the Bugatti furniture in the Cleveland. The Cleveland Museum of Art. I think I said the Cleveland Institute of Art, which is different. But the Cleveland Museum of Art has some fantastic Bugatti furniture. As does, I believe, the Detroit Institute of Art has some of the Bugatti furniture. And man, it is just killer. Yes, for those of you who don't know, Ettore Bugatti's family were actually furniture makers. He went off and did automobiles. His one brother was a sculptor. He's the one that came up with the elephant radiator emblem, or the radiator cap that has the rearing elephant on. Originally only, I'm stretching my memory here, I think it was only 2 of the Bugatti Royales originally had it. Now all of them carry it, just due to the gathering of the Royales in '86 at Pebble Beach. They made special reproductions of the rearing elephant for each car.
I was trying to pull up a picture here of the rearing elephant for those that are watching. I know this does absolutely nothing for our audio listeners. And
it makes them go out and do research. That's what it does.
But
if we want to talk about interesting automotive families, obviously the Ford family is interesting, but the Bugatti family and just their history in furniture, automobiles, the artistic world is fascinating.
There we go.
There it is. Oh, sorry, the dancing elephant. I always called it the rearing elephant, but.
Oh. Well, that happens to be it for the show. I don't know if
I'll put an hour.
I don't know if I will put Will's Cadillac or the dancing elephant as our cover art this week. I'm working on that. I will apologize to the audio podcast listeners, because you're not going to hear this, that there has been a snafu with Apple and some things. So our last 3 episodes have not released audio. Expect a big audio dump. I've just about got that problem solved, and it will be the last thing I do before this computer is torn down in the next day or so. So thank you for joining us again tonight. Abrupt ending, but it's the hour-long mark. NoDrivingGloves.com. You can email us there. You can buy us a coffee there. You can get links to every previous episode. And Jason, you just need to go back and find the multiple episodes that Derek has complained about, Gone in 60 Seconds with Angelina Jolie and Nick Cage. And the damn Mustang that's in there.
It's amazing the thing didn't just go left and hit a pole.
It's an older Mustang. It's the newer Mustangs that are attracted to curbs. But you got anything else, Derek, or I'm going to jump ship?
No, I'm going to say good night, and we will see you guys next week.
Now, for the audio listeners, if you do check us out on Facebook, Phil put up a link to some photos that he took at the High Museum exhibit, is what I'm guessing. I have some too. That was a wonderful exhibit.
I can never say it. Bellissima. Yes. I didn't get a chance to see that exhibit, but fantastic.
That's it. I got to find my in broadcast button. Thanks everybody for joining us. We hope to be with you in a week, kind of the same time. I'll be in a different place. Later, Derek.
See ya.